Well, innovation is coming to Temple Shalom in Vancouver. It has the largest Jewish congregation in the province, and a new senior rabbi plans to bring it into the digital age. I didn't say drag it into the digital age. And this is a tech-savvy religious leader who comes from California. Rabbi Dan Moskovitz joins us now in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and welcome to Vancouver, and welcome to Temple Shalom.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
In full disclosure, I happen to be a member of your congregation. Tell us about some of what you plan to do. I think I see some of it already in my email inbox.
Right. Yeah. So we're trying to reach out beyond the walls of the synagogue. I think that I want to meet people where they are, and sometimes that's online. So some of the things you're seeing in your inbox is that we're streaming our services live. We have a podcast. Just now we're in this period of preparation for the High Holy Days, and so every day I tweet or post on Facebook a text and a question for us to consider as we reflect in preparation for these days of repentance that come up on us very soon.
How is all of that going over so far? What's the reaction been?
You know, I think that people have really liked it very much. I think that we're getting a lot of participation in ways that the congregation hadn't seen before. People are in dialogue with not only with me as their rabbi, but with each other. And that's really the goal, is to create a community amongst our community and beyond the walls of the congregation. So people seem to like it a lot.
And it's we mentioned it's the largest congregation of any synagogue in British Columbia, but it's a really interesting mix of people there. Tell me about the people who represent the congregation.
Yeah, you know, it is. I come from Los Angeles, as you mentioned, where I was at another large synagogue. The population here in the congregation that I've come to know them so far is really eclectic. We have our intellectual set. We have those that have been members of the congregation for generation and generation, and there are young families, a lot of interfaith families where there's one Jewish parent in the home, and together they've decided to raise a Jewish child and have a Jewish home. And all of those populations, young and old, and all those in between, we're trying to make sure that we serve to the best of our abilities and the best of their needs.
Tell me about striking that balance, though, between being, I mean, we're talking about a Reform synagogue here. We're about being. What I'm thinking of is the balance. You have so many mixed couples in there. I guess about being Jewish enough, but not too Jewish.
Right. Well, that's the.
I know that sounds crazy, but I think you know what I mean.
Well, I do. I mean, that's the art of the work that I do, as opposed to the science of it. You've got to have a sensitivity for the history of this congregation. We're about to celebrate our 50th anniversary, our 50th year next calendar year, and you want to honor that tradition. But at the same time, in the spectrum of Jewish practice, the Reform movement has always placed its gate, or its opening, I should say, its doorway, at those that are curious about Judaism, that are interested. And we have many families that come to us because, as I said, they're in a multi-faith relationship. They've got a Jewish spouse, a non-Jewish spouse, and they want to raise a Jewish child, and they don't know where to go, and we're a place that you can do that. And at the same time, we are a Jewish synagogue, and our services are really no different than any of the others down Oak Street, which is where all the synagogues are in Vancouver, for the most part. And I think that anybody from any Jewish background would come in and feel very comfortable.
We hear about other religions, Catholicism, where people have turned away from it, and efforts by those churches, those institutions, to try to draw people back. Do you face the same challenge?
Well, I think that what we face right now in our world today is, I think, that organized religion continues to get sort of a bad name. Maybe we've been too disorganized over the years. And that people are often on a spiritual journey. They consider themselves spiritual, but they don't want to be affiliated or associated with one particular box or pigeonhole. And I think that it's incumbent upon religious leaders, myself, and across the various movements to listen to that and to move forward in ways like social media and technology, and to sort of break down some of those traditional barriers. I mean, we see it with an openness to gay and lesbian couples, and which we'll have, and we do have at Temple Shalom, an openness to families in different economic positions. And it's not about how much money's in your pocket or the check that you're going to write, but just come in the door. An openness to having children in the congregation and the community, as opposed to in the past where they used to be in the corner and had to be quiet. Not at Temple Shalom. Come in, make noise, be part of everything that we're doing.
Why did you become a rabbi?
You know, it really started with a game of catch, actually. When I was growing up at camp, the rabbi there was a rabbi and a minor league baseball player. He was a pitcher. And I liked baseball a lot more than Judaism. We played catch every day, and you learn a lot about a person in a game of catch. And I learned from those conversations as we threw the ball back and forth that it was, I wanted to do something in my life that had meaning, that made a difference in people's lives, and I get to do that every day, and for that I'm very, very grateful.
I think there's already a baseball connection to Temple Shalom with Rabbi Brigman before you.
Yes.
It's nice to see that tradition continue as well.
Right. Well, you know, Judaism is all about, you know, coming home, and that's what baseball's about, too. I mean, the Torah begins in the big inning, so.
Great to meet you. Thank you so Thank you.
It's an old rabbi joke.
We will see you soon.
Thank you so much, Steve. A pleasure to be here, and Shana Tova, Happy New Year.
Shana Tova to you. Our guest, Dan Moskovitz, Rabbi Dan Moskovitz, a new senior rabbi at Temple Shalom, which has the largest Jewish congregation in the province. He's been with us in studio a minute to go before 7 o'clock.